Anyway, dress codes aside, we're going to be hopping into game one right now, which is going to be Adonminus versus Petraeus. Who do you think is... have you ever played Adonminus on ladder before?
No, it's interesting. He is a European player, but he plays fairly actively on NA. Not more actively. It's just like that's what he does when everyone else is asleep in Europe, I guess. As you can see, he's a GM here. But no, his MMR must be so much freaking better than mine that I don't think I've ever clashed with him on
Me neither, yeah, pretty
a
interesting.
class below. But I've definitely played a lot of games with Petraeus. So my brain, or in my head, Petraeus is the favorite here. But it's interesting because they're both kind of the same tier of guy, where it's like, well, no, actually, I would even say Adonminus is above that because Adonminus is WCS relevant on Europe. I think he just dropped down to Challenger, but he's qualified and been around there. I guess actually, now that I say that, Petraeus is of the same ilk. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who comes out here.
Spawning to the top left. Oh, I didn't have these guys set colors. He should be the red Zerg. But the yellow Zerg, Petraeus, guys, it's early, okay? Spawning as the yellow Zerg, Petraeus. And in the bottom right, we have the blue Protoss, Adonminus. I remember I've been roping my girlfriend into helping me do some of the tourney prep, so she was up late helping me do some stuff last night. I remember mentioning I feel really bad for In Control because it seems like he's going to have to wake up really early to cast us. Like, he's not going to get very much sleep. And I don't know if she was up too late, but one of the things she said afterwards was, oh, it's okay. He's in the West Coast time zone, so it's still early night for him.
It's that thing where you just like you raise an eyebrow and you
Yeah.
just give the benefit of the doubt. It's like,
But
yeah.
it actually almost got by me for a second, because I was about to say, wait, what are you talking about? But then I was like, oh, wait, she's right. It actually is really early over there, so it's not that bad. And then I had to, like, do a double take.
Yeah. Well, it's true for you guys though, right? Like if there was a time zone, well, there is, but if it was habitable, 3 hours later than you guys, then it really wouldn't be bad. It'd be 1 p.m. But no, it's 7. It's fine though. Like I said, I'm used to this kind of stuff. I do start. If you watch GSL like I have the last few nights, you're up till 5 anyways.
Sure.
I skipped it last night for the sake of not being an absolute zombie today. Talking a little bit about the builds, you can tell that Adonminus is a European Protoss because he's one gate expanding. This is some kind of silent agreement that every single European Protoss has.
Really?
They
still
really
see
don't
some...
forge expand.
Oh, sure. Well, to be fair, I think... I don't know. There's like the cycle. There's like the cycle of Protoss openers where, like, for like 2 weeks, like, every single person will do, like, Forge expand or, like, Nexus Gateway expand. And then, like, it'll go back to, like, everybody only ever Gateway expands. It's kind of, I don't know what determines that. If you guys, like, all, like, get together, if there's, like, a big Protoss Skype group and you guys all decide, like, okay, guys, today we're doing...
I've been cannon rushing for 5 years now, so
Sure.
it doesn't matter.
So you're kind of tied into the Forge expand?
Well, on a serious note, though, yeah, I've always Nexus first. Whatever. I like to mix in Gateway expands, but I feel like if it's predictable, like, that's what, if you watch J-Dog matches, he makes money off that shit. He will 3-hatch before pool if he knows you're one gate expanding every single time. And then even in GSL, I think 2 nights ago, another rage is Nexus first followed by a Gateway, which, is really, really nice. But if they know it's coming, they do one base speedling and just nuke it.
Yeah.
So I feel like these builds are susceptible to being countered if they know that you're doing it. So I have to, so that's my hesitation. But there's a good chance maybe that Petraeus is not familiar with the Adonminus, and he could get away with something like this because he is right now.
Sure. And looking at Petraeus' build, Petraeus actually opened very, very, very safe. He opened up with that 15 pool. He's getting a fast extractor. Pool before hatch is actually really rare. I didn't even know that there were Zergs that did that. Like not like I know there are some Zergs who like throwing like a 10 pool, but like a 15 pool. That's just like I want to expand, but I'm really worried that there's like some really early stuff coming.
Well, safe is the word, like you said. I mean, if you don't know your opponent, this is the build that you do. Because if you do just go hatch first, and it turns out Adonminus is of that cheesy, cannon rushing ilk, that's a horrible way to start a short best of 3, right? Because if it was best of 5, okay, yeah, take the first game. It turns out you're a cheeser. I hate you. I'll play safer next game. But in a best of 3, there's no tripping. So opening up safe against a guy you think you're better than is actually the smarter play, in my opinion.
For sure. And we do see that Petraeus went ahead and thrown down his 3rd. Again, pretty just standard fast 3-hatch. I'm Zerg. I'm going to get lots of drones. And we see that Adonminus has thrown down a Stargate, which is also pretty standard for, hey, I'm a Protoss. I'm probably going to take a 3rd. Doesn't necessarily have to take a 3rd. Could throw down, 3 or 4 gates after and do like a... I don't know if I want to call it
now
pressure.
Scout.
Yeah, it is scouted.
You're making a good point.
That's a
wow.
That's a really early
okay.
third.
That's very like that's very Oz-esque. This is a third that literally exists underneath the principle of you just don't think I'm that crazy.
Yeah.
You just don't. But we see Petraeus did, as you said, open up very safe. He went for the gas fairly early on, so Speed's going to finish here in just a moment. And he had 12 lings queued up, still a few drones in here, so this is not going to be an all-in of any kind. There's no Roach Warren, but these lings are going to feel it out. Now, what's concerning me is for Adonminus, he doesn't really have a lot of DPS, so he should wall down the natural, but there's no way he holds a third.
Maybe. I think with the Oracle, I think you actually can. Those guys kill lings really fast, but the problem is he just flew right on by. He doesn't care at all about the lings. Oh, I wonder if Petraeus is...
He might not check.
Oh, no. I probably wouldn't. I don't think I would. But he is going to. That's good.
You know what, though? To your point, yeah, if the Oracle comes back, which it is,
like
that's
for
not
now,
that many lings.
Yeah, I think I still think he can save it with the Oracle. The Oracle is on its way back.
Dirty Protoss. You know what I'm saying? Dirty, dirty Protoss.
Oh, I don't know if the Photon Overcharge is needed, but drops it anyway just to be safe. I mean, he's probably not going to need that energy anytime soon for anything else.
Yeah, he has the second one that's just, 20 energy away. It was a little bit early, but if he can save the energy on the Oracle, that's kind of cute. He needs to get it back onto the other players' half the map to do something with that. But now, Petraeus, so Steven as a Zerg, like, what do you do when you see a greedy third like that? He's not in position to go do anything. He has no Roach Warren, or he's got a Roach Warren, but no Roaches to speak of. Do you just take a fourth?
I mean... To be honest, Petraeus is in, like, not a very bad spot right now. I say very bad. It's not like he's lost, but, like... So, like, Petraeus did an opener with the 15 pool and then the hatches. So, like, there are two parts of that opener. One is that it keeps him pretty safe, right? He's not going to get, like, the 1 gate into 4 gate pressure, whatever. He should be pretty safe against that because he did pool first opening. But it also put him in a position with the early speed so that in the unlikely event that your Protoss opponent is insane and throws down, like, a 6-minute third, hey, I can cancel that with speedlings. But he didn't. So he actually invested money in the early lings. He invested money in the early pool, meaning he got a later natural, a later third, but his opponent still got that super greedy third.
Yeah. And
if you look at the Harvester count, Adonminus already up to 60 probes, Petraeus only at 54 workers. It's too late to punish the third, like you couldn't... It wasn't in time for him to just mass roaches and lings to go and attack. So, like, I mean, Petraeus is in a really kind of rough spot. I mean, like I said, the game is far from over. I do believe that this matchup, especially with the Viper being used more, is starting to favor Zerg kind of in the mid-late game. So, I mean, I don't think Petraeus is out, but yeah, the opening has been really rough for him, I would say.
I agree 100%. What he's taking this opening as is he's saying, okay, well, I'm going to max saturate my drones. He's not even rushing. I mean, there's the fourth. Now, here's my concern. This infestation pit's about to finish. Going Hive is all the rage right now, but if you notice, Adonminus, he just added 1 million gateways. He's got charge. There's Templar Archives. If this is a Viper timing attack, okay, it's not. It's going to be Swarmhost, and that's good. I was just going to say, if it's Viper... Good night, sweet prince. Petraeus, you can be laid down, kissed on the brow just now. He's gone. But with Swarmhost, I like this response because he's saying, yo, okay, you won the early game. Bravo. You took a super greedy third. I hate Protoss. I hate you. Probably just a little bit. But I'm going to slow this game down. This map's good for Swarmhost. I'll take that middle base, and we'll push it to mid and late game. And Steven, to your point, if you, whether you agree or not, Zerg is strong right now in the mid and late game. Maybe not favored at best, but they're strong. People have figured out the compositions. They like Viper and Fester. We've seen a lot of Ultralist Viper combos right now with Fungal Growth holding units in place, and then, of course, Blinding Cloud going over the top of them. But with Swarmhost, we all know that this is very strong as well.
Especially, Swarmhost is such a map-dependent thing, and on this map where it's so easy to cut the middle in half, it's like, okay,
Yep. And he's doing just that. And Adonminus is not really on top of this. Like, what you want to do against Swarmhost is have Warp Prisms out, have double Robo Colossus. And there is this, I think, no, that's the first Robo.
Oh,
but he's going to move out here. He's going to find Swarmhost, and he's going to be like, oh, shit, I got to go home and get ready for this. Because this army comp is not what you want against Swarmhost. Not at all.
The Zealots and the Archons, not at all. Very easy to just throw down waves of Locusts and then just kind of back up over and over again.
Exactly. And he now knows he's starting to see Locust mid-map, and Adonminus is a high-level enough player to realize that. He's going to use his mobility, so while his composition's not great, moving over here is a great move. The problem is, there's not like, well, I say problem, but I guess what he could take advantage of and just so far hasn't. Yes, there it is. Big Zealot Warping. No stack defenses in the middle of the map. This could be great.
Yeah, and so to what you were saying earlier, having the warp prisms around the map. Obviously, Adonminus doesn't have the warp prisms, but he is laying down pylons everywhere, and you do see him like doing the warp. Because obviously, the thing that makes swarm host play fall apart is the multi-pronged pressure. These Zergs kind of want to move all of their swarm hosts at once. You don't want to move just 5 in one spot, and that's what Petraeus did. And you saw that it cost him, you know, this fourth, leaving the space undefended. Although Adonminus not targeting the hatchery, a little bit of a mistake. I mean, he's microing all over the map right now, so I mean, I can kind of see why.
It's interesting that Petraeus is opting to get roaches out as kind of his fast reactionary force. He's not upgrading towards them. He's got 12 more roaches coming out. This is very dangerous to me because roaches, they can die quite easily, and they're fairly expensive for what you get with them. I much rather prefer, you know, high-tech adrenal gland lings. Great harass coming out from Adonminus. He's going up to this third up here as well.
Yeah, the third on the right side getting hit by these zealots too. Petraeus has got a lot to deal with. One of the things that's important in Zerg is you're gonna build like whatever you build as a response to like the harass your opponent does. You can't move that with the swarm host. They have to be moved separately. Like he's moving the roaches and the swarm host to defend the same base. Like the whole purpose of building that second force is to be at 2 spots at once.
Oh, he does get the base. Now
and he's gonna get the fourth as well with those zealots up front.
Now what's kind of interesting about this is this looks really bad, and if it keeps happening, yes, this is really bad, but Petraeus is looking to slow the game down. As long as he starts to jump on top of some of this harass, he's not looking to be aggressive or anytime soon, so he's also not losing swarm hosts. There's like no detection out at all. There's going to be some coming in fairly soon. The real harm of what's happening right now is that Petraeus can't afford to be scouting, so this fourth goes down fairly safely, despite the fact there's no pylon there, by the way. And also, behind this, if you look at the production tab, 3 Void Rays at a time. And if you're going Roach Swarm Host, you don't have natural AA like, you know, Infestation, or not Infestation, Infestors or Hydras even.
Wow, and Adonminus is just laying it on really thick. He's not
Robin
letting up
thick,
at all.
hashtag so thick, you know what I'm saying?
Oh man, what's the copy pasta from the bodybuilding forum where it's like thick, solid, looking great, want to see more? I don't remember the
That's old school, man. That copy pasta.
There was another one too where I want to say it was the same guy that posted it, like originally unironically, where it was like thick, your neck looks like a cobra neck or something. I don't even remember.
Sounds good though. Sounds like I want to know about.
Regardless,
Stealth harass swinging around top side here. The swarm host not really. There's actually, by the way, not that many. There's no, there's 10. There's just in 2 different pockets.
For sure. Look, if you look at Petraeus' vision, the vision for Petraeus is really sad. You got to get those overlords spread. I mean, if your creep spread isn't going to be everywhere all over the map, at the very least, you got to get your overlord spread all over. They're not doing anything else. Petraeus isn't, or Adonminus isn't flying around with a lot of Phoenix or anything, so it's not like he's it's not like he can't have these overlords spread. You look in the main. This is like the real crime right now. The real pain is all of these overlords that are just stacked in the main that should be around the map scouting, so that Petraeus has a little bit more warning of those zealots running around.
I don't think you'll get it, Steven. I agree with you. Absolutely. I mean, to make insult to injury here, this lower left base, like I said, 0 pylon. But also, if you look inside the main of the Protoss, Mass Void Ray Tempest, lasers. Wow, and actually defending the back door, he showed 3 Void Rays, which I think is a weird choice, because it's like, either you show them or you don't, but when you see 3 Void Rays, the only thing you're hiding is like, I have 6 others, but he now knows, okay, he's going Mass Void Rays, and that's why we see Infestors coming out as well. But
yeah, I think it's okay, because he actually had started, I think he started the Spire the 3rd, it got killed like immediately after it went down by Zealots. I don't think Adonminus minds showing the Void Rays, because apparently he's just going to say F it and go for it anyway. Oh, 3 Infestors spawning immediately, probably going to get a couple fungals on the Void Rays, but yeah, not even close to enough to do the damage that needs to be done. These Void Rays are just tearing through this base. Overcharge being cast, 4 is going down, Swarm Host dying. This 4th is going to fall very easily.
Yeah.
Along with a few Swarm Hosts, I think 4, 5, or 6 died. Only 12 left on the map right now.
Yeah. I mean, he was never going Mass Swarm Host anyways. He just couldn't really get there. But the harass from Adonminus has been fantastic. It's really just been chewing up the attention of Petraeus. Look at Petraeus' main. There's 3 Swarm Hosts and a bunch of roaches just sitting there. That's not by design. That's because he's being kind of overtaxed by actions. Now pulling into the natural, Spore Crawler's going down, but that's a desperation move. That's not to win, that's just to survive.
One more fungal going. Nothing is sadder as a Zerg than throwing down fungals that you know are going to be irrelevant. Yeah. When you don't have enough energy to actually, like, you're not going to be able to hold anything in place. More zealots attacking the
like
third.
losses, but it doesn't even matter. Okay, he is gonna realize it. So much. I don't know. I actually, the OCD in me is so attached to this lower left blue Protoss face.
With no pylons ready to warp in.
It's so lonely. It's not even mining the gas. It's undersaturated. There's no pylons. But it doesn't matter. Adonminus is crushing the third right now. The natural is almost mined out, but it has, you know, like 6 spore crawlers because Petraeus is just holding on to what he has. But that's all he's doing is holding on.
There it is in chat now. Awesome picks, great size, looks thick, solid, tight. Keep us all posted on your continued progress with any humans.
I love that a human said that in earnest at some point in time. Alright, so the Spire has finished. Here come the Corruptors. The Corruptors...
Against Void Rays, a smaller number of Corruptors against upgraded Void Rays, yeah.
Yeah.
That never...
GG. Well,
wow.
Excellent game. I mean, I'm super impressed with Adonminus. Like I said, he's been floating around the WCS scene in Europe. He's obviously GM here as well, so he's fairly active on Slatter, but he got away with a super greedy opening that's really cool in a best of 3, and then he followed it up with a very fast-paced, harass style. I was worried that he was out of position to be ready for the Swarm Host. Certainly composition-wise he was, but he took his composition and played to its strengths, being very mobile, being everywhere at once, and Petraeus never saw the switch coming, and then it was too late by the time he did know.
Yeah, I mean, that was as a Zerg player, that was like a really tough game to watch. It's not what you want to see when you're going Swarm Host. The Zealot Warpins everywhere. The lack of vision on Petraeus' side of the map was pretty bad. You know, he didn't know that there were 20 Zealots going to his third until they were in his third attacking it. And,
yep.
Yeah, I mean, Adonminus... And again, it's hard to say how that mid-game should have played out, but I mean, for the early game, Petraeus did a build that keeps you really safe and can kill a fast third, and Adonminus took a third at, like, 6 minutes. Like, that's earlier than Zergs take their thirds in, like, ZBT. Like, it's crazy that he was able to set that down and keep it safe, and, yeah.
It's something that I like. What I like about it, and I don't know, I kind of always beat this horse, if you will, but I talk a lot about how in a best of series, you do have to play it differently. And what I like about this is you watch in the next game, Petraeus is either going to say, you're not doing that again, so I won't counter it because there's no way you're that crazy, or he has to make like 20 some odd speedlings because he has to believe that it's possible. It changes the way he plays the rest of the series. And then Adonminus, maybe he cuts a different corner, but he probably, I don't know. I don't think he'll do it again, but it's just nice that it affects Petraeus' mindset for the rest of the series, basically.
For sure. You joined right after we said it, but Adonminus said, give me a moment. I'm not used to lots of action. My APM is usually really low. I don't know if that counts.
I was wondering, because Petraeus just said ...
Yeah, I don't know if that counts as BM or not. I'm not actually sure. But...
You know what it is? I'm an expert at this. I know it's actually, this is identifiable as European humor. European humor is either kind of mean to the other guy, but that means they love you because they're comfortable enough to do that, or they're mean to themselves. And I interpret this as him being mean to himself.
Maybe,
it's weird for people outside of Europe because typically humor...
I don't know if it's so much as...
I
don't know if it's so much as outside of Europe. There was a really good video. I want to say it was Stephen Fry that did it, that like was illustrating the differences between like American humor and European humor. And I think the biggest thing that I took away from the biggest difference, it seems, is like the American humor is always like underdog guy starts off as like having nothing, and then at the end of the comedy he has everything. And European humor is the exact opposite, where they might start off with everything and then they end with nothing, and it's a lot more like self-deprecating, and the main character always has, you know, like a ton of fumbling, and he's not like this, you know, quote-unquote heroic figure that even in American comedies, you know, like the joke guy always, you know, manages to come out at the end with all the money, the girl, whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's definitely some merit there to what you're saying.
I think there's some truth to that, but to be honest, he's also European, so we can't really trust him. You know what I mean?
Very true. Very true.
Who knows what's actually true in that situation? All right, so I guess we're just waiting on Adonminus. Nope, he says he's ready. I'm excited. So this next map is going to be Overgrowth. This is the map that has certainly carried over from previous seasons. So we've spent, you know, half a year with this map.
There's always going to be that map that looks like every other map. Yep. Like this reminds me of Ohana so much. This map does. There was another map I asked Nathan yesterday, he didn't remember it. I don't remember it. It used the same tile set as Overgrowth, and it was similar, except the third was something you had to like walk down like a ramp.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Was it
I was
called?
worried that you'd mention that because that was the map for what 6 months of our lives.
Yeah. Do you remember the name? I want to say it was like.
Absolutely not. I have a goldfish memory for map
If somebody
names.
said it, I would instantly. You know, I'm sure you feel the same way. I think you would know it, but.
I keep trying to say Destination, but I know it's not that. That's Brood War.
Yeah, and I want to say like Terminus something, but I know it's not that because Terminus is that really freaking big map.
What was that map?